This Bitcoin chart is signaling the next major move that's going to be happening for Bitcoin. Bitcoin looks like it's likely to be breaking towards the upside since the MACD is flipping bullish, and we need to be talking about the probability of this actually playing out towards the upside and what's likely to be happening since we have the yearly close brewing with just about 2 days left until this candle closes, and we're converging in towards the apex of the symmetrical triangle. So we do know that a big breakout is likely, and the MACD is signaling that it's likely going to be towards the upside. So I have a lot of charts and I have a lot of data pieces that we're going to be going over to be seeing what is likely to be happening for Bitcoin. And of course, I'm going to be looking at the longer time frame also. And we're also going to be covering Ethereum in today's video. So make sure to be watching till the end. And with that being said, let's not waste any more time. Let's get straight away into this banger. Bow. So as you can see on this chart, every time that the MACD actually flips bullish, we actually get a massive move towards the upside. But you may notice that it's flipped bullish a few times previously and we have not seen a massive move towards the upside. In fact, we've been coming towards the downside, but you have to note that the EMAs were not angled towards the upside and they were above the zero line. So of course the EMAs were not at the oversold region, and right now the EMAs are at the oversold region below the zero line, just like the previous few times that we've seen a bullish MACD cross, right? So of course right now I am expecting a major move towards the upside for Bitcoin since this signal is actually firing. And we can also look in towards this signal over here. So of course on the same time frame, the 3-day time frame, Bitcoin is actually forming a bullish divergence, and every time that we've actually had this divergence, we've been moving towards the upside. So of course this combined with the MACD actually flipping bullish is signaling the Bitcoin is ready to be moving up. But of course, we've not been seeing much volatility. We've just been consolidating over the past few weeks. So of course, it is likely we're going to be breaking out of this range either towards the upside or the downside. So again, I do think it's possible that you can actually see a sweep of this low before we get that MACD actually continuing to flip bullish and Bitcoin continues to put in this relief rally. But of course, that's one scenario if we do get a New Year's Day shakeout where we break towards the downside, grabbing all the liquidity, then we revert towards the upside. So just bear that in mind if you do start to see this breakdown. I'm not going to be getting bearish, especially if this actually gets swept and we come back inside the wick. Then it is possible we're still going to be seeing a relief rally. It's just the fact that we have the yearly close and there's a lot of volatility that the liquidity is going to be getting shaken out on both sides. But one thing we can look at is the USDT dominance that's also at major resistance right now, and it's likely going to be breaking down towards the downside. And we can see every time that that's happened, we've had a major move up for Bitcoin. So of course, this is actually looking likely to be playing out. And if Bitcoin can actually bottom here and the USDT dominance actually moves towards the upside, then of course we're going to be seeing a major move, and this is going to be providing us that relief rally that we're looking for. But of course, if the USDT dominance spends too much time at this resistance level and it starts to flatten out on the stochastic RSI, it is possible we can break towards the upside. And in that case, we're definitely going to be testing the 70k level support, and potentially we can be losing that and entering a bear market, because of course we've seen this in previous cycles. We've had a double bottom in the 2021 into the 2022 bear cycle, and we were consolidating just below the resistance level for an extended period of time before smashing through it, leading to a major correction in the market. This time round, history didn't exactly repeat, but it did rhyme since we got a triple bottom and we're actually starting to consolidate just below this resistance level. So it's important that we don't spend too much time here and we start to make our way down so that we can actually get this relief rally. And then of course, from there, we can expect a potential rejection, or we're going to be continuing to new all-time highs, which I do think is less likely. And of course, the major reason for that is the fact that we always test the 50-week moving average every time we get a relief rally after losing it. So you can see in the 2021 cycle where we lost the 50-week moving average, we came to retest it in 2022, which was a midterm year. And then when we actually retested it, we moved towards the downside. That was the same in 2018. We actually came to retest it, and that's where we moved in towards the downside. And of course, in 2014, we actually lost it. We retested it, and then we moved towards the downside. So I do think this is going to be the same scenario where we come and retest the 50-week moving average, and then that's where we're going to be leading in towards a bear market. But that doesn't knock the fact that we can still get a relief rally here. And of course, it may not be to new all-time highs, but it's possible we can get a relief rally in towards the 100k regions, and then that's where we're going to be moving back down towards the downside. But in that short term, you can see if we do sweep the lows, then we reclaim the range again. These are the opportunities and the regions I'm going to be looking to be taking long positions, and I'm going to be expecting Bitcoin to be moving back towards the upside and even further in towards 100k region. So of course, this is one thing you want to be noting. If we do sweep the low and we come back inside the low, I do think that that's going to be a very good opportunity to be taking a position. So if you want to be trading for yourself, make sure to click that first link down below for LBank. LBank's offering the community a 200% deposit bonus once you do sign up, and make sure to be grabbing this amazing deal. LBank is an amazing exchange with a lot of different pairs to be trading and a lot of different altcoins. So of course, make sure to be checking the first link down below for a 200% deposit bonus, and of course a lot of the different pairs to be trading on LBank with a fee discount also. Also, if you want to be joining my free community for market insights, breaking news, and of course a lot of different trades, make sure to be checking that second link down below as well. So for that longer term, we're in a market maker sell model, and it is likely we're going to be moving in towards the bear market since we're approaching a midterm year, but it is likely that we can still stay within a broad range where we get a relief rally in towards that 50-week moving average, and then we're going to be coming towards the downside in towards our next few ranges before we reach a bear market bottom where we have an accumulation range and potentially we reverse the trend again. Now, the reason I say this is the fact that we are repeating history, as you can see, so it is possible that we are going to be moving towards the downside once we get a relief rally and we test the mid-range of the parallel channel, just like we did in the last cycle. And of course, we do have the monthly MACD flipping bearish, angled towards the downside, and of course the histogram is already starting to print red, so it indicates that the next few months can be bearish. But of course, the histogram can continue to print red with the MACD coming towards the downside, even though we get a relief rally, since that was what happened last cycle. Then we're going to be coming towards the downside later. So I do expect some relief rally, of course, especially with this MACD signal firing. Then of course, I do expect us to actually move towards the downside after. So a few more reasons why in the grand scheme of things we are likely to be moving towards the downside is the fact that we have this super trend indicator firing a sell signal. We're also entering a midterm year where historically we've seen downwards price action for Bitcoin, and we've actually exceeded the bullish time frame for our timing cycles, and we're entering the bearish one right now where we're likely to be getting some downside if history does repeat. And of course, my targets do remain the 200 and 300 week moving averages. So this is one thing to be noted, and it's situated around that 50k region. So it is likely that we can take out that low that we had in our previous range in 2024. We test these moving averages and then we can move towards the downside. As for Ethereum, we're still sitting on this major level of support, and of course we've had weak price action since August and we've been moving towards the downside. So along with Bitcoin, I do expect a relief rally, and then likely that's where we're going to be moving towards the downside in towards a bear market. But again, if we do get some volatility in New Year's Day, it is possible we sweep this low and then we go towards the upside. So this is one thing to be watching out for. And if this scenario actually plays out, I do think that would be a great opportunity to be taking a long position if we actually get that sweep of the low and some bullish divergence. So that's one thing that I'm going to be paying attention to, and I will be alerting in my free Telegram, which is that second link down below. But of course, in that weekly time frame, we still have not broken above the 50-week moving average in the past few weeks. So price action is very weak for Ethereum. And if we do come towards the low and we don't manage to reclaim the low and we don't get any bullish signals to take a long position, I do think it's possible we can move in towards this demand region for Ethereum over here. And then that's where we're going to be moving towards the upside, in towards the bull market support band, where we're likely going to be topping for the cycle. And this demand region goes from 2,500 down to 2,200. So that's the region I'm looking at. And of course, I do think that we can bounce all the way to the 3,900 level for Ethereum before we actually top out for the cycle. But I remain to be bullish on Ethereum in a longer time frame, since of course we're seeing large investors aggressively accumulating Ethereum on this dip, and of course we're seeing retail sell. So it'll be interesting to see once we get a relief rally what this chart is going to be doing. If large investors start selling and we see retail start to flip bullish, that will be a very telling signal that of course will actually lead to my bias being bearish on that relief rally, and then and then we should be expecting a bear market to continue. But of course, that's in the future, and we'll analyze that scenario once it comes up. But as for now, I do think that Ethereum is just going to be correlating to Bitcoin and following what happens over there. So that'll be it from me. Make sure to be following me on X to be staying up to date with all my updates. And I'll be seeing you guys in the next update video tomorrow. So have a blessed rest of your day. Peace, guys. See ya. Bye-bye.